Do you want to get in the car and drive around and you could show us where Cody, Tina, Stephanie are?
This is 30-year-old Matthew Hoffman, sitting in this interrogation room for the disappearance of an entire Ohio family, ones that Matthew has no idea officers have found in one of the worst places imaginable.
A case that started as a botched burglary and ended with 3 people dead.
Their bodies later discovered hidden in a tree.
Discovered inside this very tree, victims to Matthew's insanity, obsession, and stalking.
You really didn't leave anybody behind, including the doll. You cannot take that back. It's too late.
And what happens from here on out will be one of the most disturbing cases these detectives have ever investigated.
Things didn't go as planned, did they? We gotta get this cleared up. You know, I know. It's not gonna be pretty.
It's early November 2010 in the small farming town of Apple Valley, Ohio, and 32-year-old Tina Herman is trying her best to live a peaceful, quiet life. While working as an assistant manager at Dairy Queen doesn't exactly earn her a fortune, it's enough to raise her kids, 10-year-old Cody and 13-year-old Sarah, in the quiet rural farmhouse they call home. Her friend Stephanie Sprang stops by often to visit, and despite a difficult divorce with ex-husband Larry Maynard, the future's looking bright. But as the family goes about their business that fall, little do they know a predator's lurking in their midst, one that will cross paths with them very soon. And for them, nothing will ever be the same. 30-year-old Matthew Hoffman recently returned home to Ohio after living a transient lifestyle out west. Now he works odd jobs, including manual labor and tree trimming, and lives in a run-down house his family owns in Mount Vernon, a town about 15 minutes from his parents in Apple Valley. He's described by those who know him as emotionally flat and difficult to read, intensely private, and prone to disappearing into total isolation. But neighbors' description of him is even more concerning. He sits in trees for hours, watching them, starts fires in his front yard, and has a habit of, as one puts it, killing the squirrels because he doesn't grocery shop. The woods near his parents' house is one of his favorite places to disappear into, woods that happen to be in direct proximity to the Herman family residence. And on November 10th, Matthew is up to another of his hobbies, burglarizing homes in the area, including in his parents' neighborhood. And when Tina Herman goes out to run a few errands, a simple slip of the mind soon turns tragic. She leaves the garage door partly open. It's the point of entry for Matthew, who has been scoping the house out from across the street since the previous night. But he makes a serious mistake of his own, because he's not counting on Tina coming home so soon, and then the kids returning from school soon after. And soon, investigators will describe what happens next as one of the worst crimes they've ever seen.
Tina encounters Matthew, and a violent struggle ensues, but she's no match for the survivalist and avid tree climber, who's also armed with a knife. And after the deadly attack, he turns his attention to the family dog, and then to Cody. But this horrific crime is far from over, because just as it's unfolding, Stephanie Sprang stops by for a visit and meets the same fate as her friend Tina. And while Sarah is spared, the ordeal she's about to face is about the most horrifying a human being can experience.
Hours later, Tina's manager at Dairy Queen, Valerie Haythorne, is growing increasingly concerned about her employee. She didn't show up for her shift and isn't answering her texts or calls. So Valerie drives by the house, only to find the lights on and Tina's and Stephanie's car in the driveway, but no answer at the door. Growing ever more alarmed, she calls police to report her concerns.
One of my employees did not show up for work this afternoon at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
Which is totally uncharacteristic of her. She's one of my managers.
Okay.
No, she's not answering her phone, which is totally uncharacteristic. She's not answering her texts, and she is not at home, but her truck and her coat are in her house. Her truck's there and her coat is in the house. I'm very concerned about her.
What's her name?
Her name is Tina Herman, Hermann.
Deputies arrive at the home soon after, but after receiving no answer at the door and without a warrant to enter, they soon leave the scene. But the next day, Stephanie's boyfriend calls police to report her missing, and an officer calls Cody and Sarah's school and learns that neither showed up that morning. That afternoon, frustrated with the slow response, Valerie decides to do some investigating of her own. She goes back to the house and finds that while Stephanie's vehicle's still there, Tina's is now gone. After finding an unlocked window, she crawls inside where she immediately notices signs of a horrific crime. There's blood splattered on the walls and carpet, and in nearly every room of the house, but no sign of Cindy or the kids. Now certain that something horrible has happened, she again calls police.
I am out at her house now. I just went in her home because I'm so worried about her. There is blood everywhere.
Okay, just give us a few minutes and we'll be en route, okay?
Okay,
Don't go back in the house.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying in the driveway.
With evidence of a serious crime and 4 people missing, authorities look into those closest to Tina, including her recent ex-boyfriend Gregory Borders, who's brought in to face questioning about his whereabouts that day. But little do they know they're wasting their time, because the real killer's still out there, and with Sarah still in his grasp.
So you pretty much had a plan to go golfing that day?
Yeah, we had planned it out we've been planning it all weekend. But then they asked Monday for volunteers to work because we were really behind. And I was like, well, I'll sign up for Wednesday. I was talking to my buddy, I'll sign up for Wednesday and come crash at your house. And then because the place we wanted to go golfing is it's far drive from here. And he's only like 20 minutes from it.
It turns out Gregory, who was living with Tina at the time, has an airtight alibi. He was working 90 minutes away at a Target distribution center and then slept over at a friend's house later that night. They were scheduled to play golf the next day, plans they had well in advance. But even though Gregory's quickly cleared, he still has the court of public opinion to contend with.
You know, I know it's frustrating when you hear news outlets saying, oh, well, you know, Greg said this or this, and it's not true. Yeah. Unfortunately, that comes with the territory sometimes. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it doesn't seem right. But, you know, and again, that's why we're talking to you, you know, just to kind of find out what's going on, because you can't, like I said, we can't believe half the stuff they say in that news.
I'm wondering now how much I should believe the news I watch.
Well, you question it sometimes, don't you?
As authorities scour bike paths and riverbanks, another man's brought in for questioning, Tina's ex-husband and the father of her children, Larry Maynard. And while Larry has an alibi of his own, he also thinks he knows who the most likely suspect is. And if you love watching crimes like this get solved, you're in the right place. Subscribe.
Let's talk a little bit about Greg. Okay. What do you know about Greg? Greg is obviously Tina's boyfriend.
Right.
Live-in boyfriend?
Yeah. Really, the only thing I know about Greg is that his mom lives up there somewhere. I don't know exactly where. He was in the Marine Corps. I don't know when. He works at Target. And yeah, he drinks all the time. That's about all I know of him.
What about
that he's mean to my kids. I mean,
tell me about his behavior.
You know,
at least what you've heard, and maybe seen a little bit as far as his antisocialness type of thing.
He's just like real cold demeanor. I mean, he says nothing. I mean, he has no emotion. He has no reaction on his face to nothing. The kids are like, you know, Dad, you know, he won't let us talk to you. You know, and when you call, you know, he won't let us talk to you. And, you know, from what I gathered from the kids and Tina, he basically dictates when they can see me. The kids have to pass it through him when it's okay for them to come to my house. I mean, he's always drinking. I mean, the kids are like, Dad, you know, this guy, you know, he's always drinking, you know. And, you know, the kids will call me up and be like, where's Greg at? Oh, he went down to the store to get beer, you know. And he's already drunk. He's down to the store to get more beer. You know, I mean, stuff like that. I don't know. I mean,
what about just kind of refresh your memory? You'd mentioned something about the kids that told you about him jumping on trucks or the garage door thing.
Well, I guess their mom was going to leave him one time, and he was throwing beer cans at the windows of the truck. Their mom was sitting. From what I understand, their mom was sitting in the truck. The kids were in the truck. He was winging beer bottles at the truck, beer cans at the truck, whatever. I don't know if it was beer bottles or beer cans. Something beer bottles or beer cans, whatever. He was winging them at the truck. He got up in the bed of the truck, was jumping up and down. The kids told me that he had broke the garage door. I don't know exactly how he broke the garage door, but the kids told me that he had broke the garage door. I mean, just, you know, every time Tina would go to leave him, he would get real angry.
As Larry explains it, the garage door being half open may have been more of a result of Greg's drunken meltdown than Tina's slip of the mind. But if true, It's now a cruel twist of fate that puts everything else in a disturbing perspective. Because if Matthew Hoffman hadn't spotted such an easy point of entry, there's a chance this tragedy wouldn't be unfolding. Meanwhile, police uncover major leads that soon crack the case wide open. Tina's vehicle is found abandoned in the nearby Kenyon College parking lot. And in her garage, a crucial clue: Walmart shopping bags containing heavy trash bags, plastic tarps, and a literal receipt. Police search store security footage, and it doesn't take long to spot a suspect shopping for those exact items, along with a t-shirt and turkey sandwich. The suspect is seen leaving in a silver Toyota Yaris, which is soon linked to an owner matching his description, one Matthew J. Hoffman. And as authorities look into their new suspect, they find a disturbing criminal past. Not only was he arrested a month earlier for choking an ex-girlfriend, he'd only been allowed to move back to Ohio recently after being released on parole in Colorado. In 2000, he was arrested and charged with arson after partially burning down a condo complex in an attempt to conceal evidence of a burglary. Now, 4 days after Tina, her children, and Stephanie went missing, Matthew's rundown home in Mount Vernon is raided by SWAT. But when he's found calmly lying on a sofa, he's surrounded by leaves. Much to authorities' shock, bags and bags of leaves along with loose piles of leaves are everywhere. And in the basement, found bound on a bed made of even more leaves, is 13-year-old Sarah. She's dazed and in shock, but appears physically unharmed. And all she can tell police is that she's late for school. But there's no sign of Tina, Connor, or Stephanie in the house. And after Sarah tells police of her harrowing ordeal and the horrific abuse she suffered, it's more important than ever to get answers from Matthew about where his other victims could be. But that's going to prove far harder and far more frustrating than detectives can ever imagine.
Sign up for me, man. Talk to me a little bit. Explain if you want to talk to me.
Kind of understand what's going on here, Matt?
That's it. We can explain all this to you if you want to talk to me, okay? I think you know what we want to talk about. But we need to find some people. Matt, can you hear me? Gotta get this clear. You know my.
Sure, you probably have some questions for us, right? Or maybe a little bit better understanding what's going on. Hey, Matt, can I ask you a question? You look familiar. You look familiar to me. You work out at the gym?
What gym?
Body Basics. You work out at Body Basics because I think I've seen you there.
Matt, the sooner we get this moving, the sooner we can all move on. It's been a rough couple days for all of us. I'm sure you'd like to get some sleep. I'd like to get some sleep. Tired, Matt?
The exhausted detectives have been working non-stop on the case for days, but even though they found Sarah and have their suspect in custody, it seems they're no closer to finding the rest of her missing family, because Matthew won't say a word. And while he has all the time in the world, detectives only grow more frustrated and more desperate.
We've been working for several days. And obviously, here we are sitting here today, so that must mean something, man. Other people, there's family members out there of other people, and all they want is closure. That's all they want. They've been up for days like you and I had, Heart hurts. I don't. I don't understand sign language, man. Is that your heart? You're saying heart? Broken. Your heart's broken? Because of what happened? No? Someone broke your heart?
Matt, can you look at us? Will you do that for me? Matt, I know you're hurting, okay? I can see it. You got tears coming down your eyes. This is tough, no doubt about it. You have feelings, or you wouldn't be crying right now.
Things didn't go as planned, did they? Nothing happened the way you wanted it to happen, did it? Matt? Matt, you love Sarah? You told one of our officers the other night that you was waiting on your girlfriend, Sarah. Do you remember that? Down in Gambier? Hmm? You remember that, Matt? Man, we're not gonna say a thing if you want to cry. If you want to cry, you cry. We have no problem with that at all. Be honest with you, I might just cry with you. No matter what, there's people that love you. You know that. I know that. What went wrong? Let me give you a couple minutes here, man. I'm going to check my phone.
Hey, Matt. You want to talk to me? I would like to talk about this whole situation so we can get it out. Okay? You'll feel better. I'll feel better. But I'm not going to make you. We can talk about anything. And if we get to it, we get to it. I'll talk all night about riding bikes. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Oh, thanks.
Matt, here's some tissues.
You understand what's going on, Matt?
Matt, we got family members. I just got off the phone that are pretty emotional and pretty upset. And they need your help and want your help so we can get this resolved. We want to get family back to family no matter what, okay? No matter what the condition is, we want to get them back. The longer we sit here and you not talking and us being the only ones talking, those family members are going through more pain.
I know that you got feelings, Matt, and this is hard for you. You know? I know you got feelings for a couple different reasons. One, you said your heart's broken. Obviously you have feelings. Two, you're upset. You know, we had to bring in tissues for you because you had some tears. Perfectly fine. And three, I talked to your mom. She says you got feelings. She's got feelings. We just want to make this right. I think you want to make it right. I think we can make this right for everybody. But what you need to do is step up right now. Okay? You need to step up and be the man that you are. Let's get this taken care of and prove that you're the man that you are. I don't know you that well. I've seen you at the gym. Okay?
We are wasting valuable time in here. Not that we can change what has already happened, as we've said many times already, but you can change it. You can make it right. And you notice we're not sitting here screaming and hollering and doing whatever. But we need you to talk.
Matt, this is what we're going to do, okay? We're going to step out. Okay? You hearing me? Can you at least nod your head for me, please? We're going to step out for a couple minutes and let you kind of compose yourself. Is that okay? Okay, we're going to step out, all right? Think about some things.
Despite detectives' best efforts, Matthew simply won't crack, and now it's clear they're grasping at straws. But with the families of Tina, Connor, and Stephanie begging for answers, all they can do is continue trying every tactic in the book, hoping one eventually gets their suspect to talk. And as their frustration grows, their desperation begins to show.
You can't take it back. Sarah's going to be with family. You and I both know that. Not a whole lot we can do for the rest at this point, but we can bring them back, get them back to where they belong, to their family, because their family loves them. Just like your family loves you. And maybe you don't believe that. And maybe you don't have feelings for your family, but they have feelings for you. And these people have family that has feelings for them. And you are hindering, by not talking to us, their closure. Because you're worrying about yourself. You're being selfish. That's exactly what's happening here. Matt's worrying about himself. He's not worrying about a brother who's missing a sister. He's not worrying about a sister who's missing a sister. He's not worrying about a grandma that's missing her grandson, or a grandpa that's missing his grandson. Matt's not thinking about that. Matt's thinking about, oh gee, let's feel sorry for me. That's what's happening here. I'm not going to talk. Maybe they'll go away. That's what's happening here. You've given me no indication or no other reason but to believe that. None. Do you want to get in the car with Gary and I and drive around and you can show us where Cody, Tina, Stephanie are? One thing I'll give to you, Matt. You know, outside of Sarah, you really didn't leave anybody behind, including the dog. You made mistakes, Matt. Now man up and deal with it. You are not a child. You're an adult. Act like an adult. Deal with it. I could go get my phone and I could call the family members and tell them that, hey, I've got somebody here that wants to talk to you. I'm not sure they would hear you because they're extremely upset and crying. Because one person in this room holds the key to them people getting their lives back. This is a kid who wants to go home, no matter how that may be. I'm sure it's not going to be pretty, Matt. I'm sure of that. I've told you, I spent 3 days at a crime scene. Hell, it bothers me, man. It's got to bother you. Got to bother you. There is no way that you can function walking around every day keeping that inside of you. I guarantee you, from Wednesday, November the 10th, 2010, to Sunday, November the 14th, 2010, that you have walked around and not thought about what occurred on November 10th. And again, maybe the adults don't bother you, but the child should. And if the child doesn't bother you, I feel very sorry for you. Very, very sorry. I think Matt's got some control issues. He likes to be in charge. He wants to be in command. I'm beginning to think that you're right, that he might not care about people.
Well, you know,
That's all right.
I kind of look at it a little bit differently. I kind of look like this is a game to him. This whole thing's a game.
Well, it has to be a guy that can sit there that long with his eyes closed, wishing we would go away.
Maybe he's pouting because he realized it's like poker. He's out. He's got to fold. Thought he had a good hand by telling the deputy he was waiting for his girlfriend, Sarah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Watching the deputies go over to the truck. It's a game. Problem is, put all those chips in. He lost. He lost. A lot of people lost. Didn't they, Matt? You lost. You lost big.
I think Matt can help in the game, though.
As far as I'm concerned, he lost. Game over, bud.
Good luck. You're going to think you won when I walk out the door, but you haven't. Just understand that, okay?
Eventually accepting that Matthew's not going to give them anything useful during this interview, detectives decide to call it a day. But as the investigation continues, the newly booked Matthews brought in for yet another interview. And now a member of another agency wants to try their hand at getting him to talk. The FBI. And they won't come empty-handed.
Just gonna bring in some napkins. Cheese pizza, see what comes in. So I don't know if that's something that's of interest, but your mom's doing fine. And she's worried about you, but she's doing okay. Would you want to talk to her? Like I said, I don't know if you're close to her or not.
So did you go to Quantico?
I did.
Was that just training?
Yeah, I was there about 4 months. That's what you have to graduate from to get in. Have you ever been there?
I bet your parents are proud.
While the pizza and calming presence of the agent seems to be enough to get Matthew to finally speak, he still says nothing about the location of his victims. So the next day, after being allowed to change into a standard issue jail uniform, a second agent tries a more aggressive tactic.
Hey, Matt. I need you to talk to me for a minute because of something. Phil, Matt, I need you to talk to me for a minute because of something that Chris asked me. Okay? You don't even have to talk to me, you just need to listen to me, okay? With me? It's Joe. Remember we talked yesterday? I know you kind of come and go, in and out of this thing, but I'm going to recognize that you know what I'm saying. You can hear me because you do respond when you choose to. Okay, so even though I don't have the eye contact and the kind of little nonverbal cues that make it more comfortable for me, I'm going to press on because this is an important issue. Okay, and as much as you are or have been in control of these interviews by basically doing this, I have to, move on because time is short and we've got some issues we're going to talk about. Okay. Now, Karen says that she spoke to you about taking a ride in a car. Okay, about us taking you out in the car. I don't know where the FBI gets these ideas from, but about taking you out in the car and maybe you helping us. I mean, she's right when she says that, this issue is just about trying to find these folks so we can determine, for sure if what we fear has happened. And so we can give closure to their families, including most especially for me, because I spent several hours with you yesterday, Sarah. Okay? But it's a hell of a risk. I mean, obviously, I don't know if you've had access to any news media back in the jail, but I mean, everybody knows that you've been arrested with, this girl in your basement, and that obviously, you're the guy who's responsible for this whole situation out there. Okay, we can't do anything about that, but it's a hell of a risk for us to take you under those circumstances out of this building in a car or whatever. And I mean, it's just a risk. Okay. So I want to be really clear before I try to get approval for this, since the FBI can't make this decision. It's got to be the sheriff. I mean, I can't either. It's got to be the sheriff's office, which means we've got to talk to the sheriff. I want to get some sense rather than this kind of catatonic, comatose, non-responsive thing you do about whether or not, you want to try and do this. Because here's the thing, and I don't know exactly what Karen's been telling you, but the truth of the matter is this. They are going to charge you with this whole kit and caboodle. There's enough crime scene evidence there at the scene, enough blood, enough everything, that it's, whether we find these bodies or not, through you helping us, we find them on our own, somebody stumbles on them, or we go out and don't find them. I mean, if we don't find them, it's not going to make a difference in the charges. Tomorrow, you're going to be arraigned on a kidnapping charge. But before the next grand jury meets, whenever that is, you're going to be arraigned on these murder charges too. Because from what the crime scene people tell us in terms of the volume of blood, the stains, the spillage, and all that package of stuff that's out there, the bits of found, the whole 9 yards, they have enough to make that case. Okay? So this isn't about how you're going to be charged. Okay? Obviously, the kidnap against Sarah, all that's going to be part of the package. Tomorrow it'll be kidnapping. You'll get a bond that's going to be through the ceiling somewhere, if you get one at all, which you probably won't. And, you're going to be in custody, you're going to be charged, okay? I'm not trying to float any bullshit here with you. I'm just trying to be straight up with you. It doesn't make any difference what happens in terms of the bodies. What the truth of the matter is, though, is that tomorrow you're going to be arraigned, okay? Once you're arraigned, you're in the process. It starts. You'll have an attorney signed to you. I understand they told you that Alfred, your public defender, you said you didn't want one. That's fine. That's cool. But they will give you one tomorrow, and once you get that attorney, they're not going to let us talk to you again. So the window of opportunity for you to do anything positive in this case, okay? I don't mean to suggest to you that telling us, taking us out tonight and showing us where the bodies are is going to make this all go away, and we're even because you did the right thing today, and nothing's going to happen to you, okay? But certainly, where decisions have an opportunity to be made down the road, potentially, and I can't, guarantee these things, what facility you might go to, where you might go, what might happen, that all can be affected. And the attitude that the people in the system are going to take toward you can be affected by the fact that you decided at this point to do the right thing. I don't know what all is part of this package. Okay, they told me that they talked to your mom. She wrote a very nice note. They tell me she's a religious woman. I'm a very religious guy. Okay, I don't know what your religion background is. I think somebody said that maybe you're into Buddhism or something like that. I'm not sure. Okay, but I realized that your mom said in her note that that she acknowledges that you're involved in this thing, but that she's not going to hold it against you because she loves you no matter what. So you're not going to burn any bridges with your mother. She's already knows what the situation is. Okay? But certainly she's encouraging you, as we all are, for the sake of the people that are left, that are unaffected, that are still alive, that can be impacted by this, to help us know where this is.
It won't be until November 18th, over a week after the crime, that Matthew finally helps narrow the search for the location of his victims. And as officers scour wooded areas between Mount Vernon and Apple Valley, they eventually find the bagged remains of Tina, Cody, and Stephanie. While they'd been scattered amongst various locations in the area, one spot is particularly bizarre and challenging to find. Inside a rotted, hollowed-out tree trunk, it's a disturbing end to a disturbingly tragic story. Whether Matthew's behavior during his interviews was genuine or a desperate attempt at an insanity defense is anyone's guess. But in the end, it means little to the grieving families of his victims, or to Sarah, who because of his disgusting actions will never ever be the same. Matthew Hoffman was ultimately charged with a hefty list of crimes, with the aggravated murders of Tina, Cody, and Stephanie as the most prominent ones, along others related to the kidnapping. He pleaded guilty to all charges, which allowed him to avoid the death penalty in exchange for a sentence of life in prison without parole.
If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to subscribe to our channel. 80% of everyone watching isn't, and your support would help us more than you realize. It's free, and it keeps this channel alive. You can also check out one of the craziest cases I've ever covered right here, or one of my newest uploads right here.